My name is Z. Ferrufino. I'm the CEO, President of Latino Communications Corporation that owns several radio stations here in Denver, in Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. I remember, I got appointed by Governor Romer. I remember getting a call from the Chief of Staff. He says, Z, the governor wants to appoint you. But I didn't hear good, I thought, to the baseball team. I thought it was, then, I said, no, I said, I never played baseball in my life. I said, I don't even know how many people plays baseball. And she said, no, it's the baseball commission. He says, we're trying to bring, Major League Baseball to Denver. And then I said, oh, that's different. I said, could I think, for a couple of days or so? And she says, no, the governor has to announce this, tomorrow. So, in 2 days. And we need you to tell us if you are interested, I said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow. And then I talked to my relatives, to my friends, and I said, that would be great, to be a baseball commissioner. I said, you should say yes. So everybody, my kids, were excited. Then I called the next day, I said, I accept, the nomination to be a baseball commissioner by Governor Romer. That's the way I got appointed. I was the only Latino in the commission.
And this was in mid-April of 1990 when you got on the commission.
Correct.
And so you dove right in. What did you do?
Then I remember, we had the first meeting of the commission. Sam Suplicio was the president. A good guy, nice guy, full of energy. And thank you to you, Kathy, and Neil, really, for pushing this thing, to be approved by the legislature. Because otherwise, nothing was going to happen. Because nobody believed, really Denver will be, expansion thing. Because they thought, even all the newspapers, all the TV stations, they didn't believe, just you guys are wasting your time. And Rocky Mountain News, all those articles, but it was almost impossible for them to get expansion because of the revenues, a small city. And then, we work hard. We did, we work hard. I remember, a big event was coming in the community, Cinco de Mayo. And then I printed, 100,000 flyers with the pictures, in the back of the best Latino players in Major League Baseball. And we passed those. At that event, I remember, we had 100,000 people attending. And it was a good event. People were excited. Some people, will come, say, nah, this is never happening. You guys are wasting your time. Always, you find negative people. But we were positive, working hard. I had, volunteers, about 30 people, volunteers, passing the flyers, everything. And next, I remember, we had a big Latino concert. And then, I said, to get these people excited because we have the bumper stickers. And the bumper sticker was simple, it says, we need Major League Baseball in Colorado. That was all, in Spanish. Then I went, inside. I was doing the concert myself at Mammoth Event Center. Right now, but they changed the name now, it's Fillmore. And we told people, I got, a couple round-trip tickets to any place in Mexico, from Mexican Airlines. I got dinners, I got, all kinds of giveaways. And I told I went to the microphone, I told people, listen, we have these bumper stickers. If you put in your car, you could win 2 round-trip tickets, any place in Mexico, dinners, all kinds, deep money, everything. And people got excited. They went, you have 15 minutes. So everybody took, We had at least 2,000 cars. I remember when we went out to check. Every car had the bumper stickers. Baseball is good for Colorado. And we gave away, people was excited, people was asking, because in the Latino community, the best, a lot of the best players on Major League Baseball are Latinos. So those names they knew, and they got excited.
I think one of the most interesting things to me, Z, was that many times issues like this get bogged down in bureaucracy. And, my recollection is that you didn't wait around for the bureaucracy. You had some very great marketing ideas. You went ahead and implemented those ideas. You funded them out of your own pocket. And certainly, I happen to think it made a big difference.
Yeah, that was true, Kathy. I did, even I got in trouble with the commission. I remember during the meeting, they told me, "Z, you're not an independent guy, you cannot be printing bumper stickers or flyers." It says, without the authorization of the commission. And then I believe, you were Kathy that defend me, because I didn't know what to say, I said, I'm just playing by the rules, but the election's coming soon. And we can't just wait, for the commission approving everything. So that's the way we did it, and it worked. It was good, and people were excited. Remember, the Latino community, the minority community in general, they don't go to vote unless you give them a good reason to vote. And this was a good reason, because all these people, could have, small businesses, small restaurants around the stadium, and everybody got benefit with the economy, jobs, and tourism. Coming, people from New Mexico, from Nebraska, from Wyoming, to see the baseball games, and they spend the whole weekend in Denver. So that was good, for Colorado and Denver. But I believe, that never happened before.
Well, and if you remember correctly, we were in a pretty deep recession back in that particular time. So deep that some people, and so drawn out that some people referred to it as a depression. And we had several other issues at the same time. We were building a new international airport. We were building the Denver Public Library. And so, and if I remember correctly, the commission didn't, and the campaign didn't have a lot of money to be spending on those kinds of issues. So I think it was very important, the individual efforts that each individual made.
Yeah, that was true, because everybody was paying attention, to the new airport. Everybody was raising money for that. And the convention centers, the new convention center, everybody was, another group raising money for the convention center. Then, the library. So there were so many things happening in Denver. So to raise money for baseball, was very hard, Kathy. Because people didn't believe.
So you set up booths you took advantage of Cinco de Mayo, and you set up some booths on Santa Fe. And
we did. We set up, about 8 booths, I believe. And then, the other big event we took advantage of was the Taste of Colorado. We have a lot of booths also. We have 50 volunteers, passing flyers, everything, getting people excited about baseball. And that's why it takes, for people to go to vote.
so you were interviewed several times by different reporters. How did that go?
Yes, I did, especially in the Spanish community, by Telemundo, Univision, by the Spanish radio, Spanish newspaper, La Voz. And even, I was invited by Peter Boyle, to his show. And everybody was telling me, it's just, first, they told me, you shouldn't go because the chairman or the vice chairman has to go to those interviews because it's important. And the rest was telling me, just knowing Peter Boyle, he's against baseball and he's just going to destroy you. But that didn't happen, he was very nice to me. But the questions were right, and he didn't really try to discredit me or discredit baseball.
Well, and I think at that time too, we had a poll showing that if the election were held tomorrow, that it wouldn't pass. And so we know that we were working from behind the times. And then ultimately, when it did pass, it certainly wasn't a landslide by any stretch of the imagination. Do you have any sense of the Hispanic turnout in this particular election to bring baseball to Colorado?
I believe the Hispanic turnout was big, and 70% of the Latino community voted for baseball. Even though I remember, it was in the 6 counties, and the Denver County we lost by a little bit.
I think Adams County we lost by a little bit.
No, we won Adams County. Oh, maybe, one of the 2 counties we lost by a little bit. But the Hispanic community voted, 70% in favor of baseball.
So you've gotten more excited about baseball and more knowledgeable about baseball over the years?
Yes. I learned how many players, and I got excited. Now, it's so good, for Denver, for the state. Baseball puts Denver, in the major cities of the sports in the United States. So that was the best thing we did, actually. The best thing was, bring, and at that time, the baseball team, cost $90 million, I remember. And now, they said it costs $1 billion, so whoever invested, is doing well.
Exactly.
So I remember too, Z, at that particular time that we had an economic development study that talked about it would generate $96 million in associated revenues for the area. We had made some projections in terms of attendance in the first year. We had done some of those things. What are your recollections of?
I remember, when they started playing at Mile High Stadium, the governor asked me, he says, "See, how many people do you think will attend the first year? Do you think a couple million?" I said, "Yes, governor, probably more than a couple million." And they, were surprised, this was a big surprise for everybody, that more than 4 million people attended the first year. And this was, tremendous bonanza for business. Everybody was making a little money. And it was good. The people didn't believe, they finally, they started believing, that we have a Major League Baseball in Denver, and it was good for the state, for the city, bringing all those tourists, from all over New Mexico, Nebraska, Wyoming, staying the whole weekend here in Denver, spending in hotels, food, everything.
So the economy took off right after the baseball stadium issue passed, and the bonds were paid off in 10 years rather than 20. And the bonds were then, a new bill was introduced, and the bonds created the payment to build a new football stadium. Were you involved in that?
Yes, I was involved in that. And now, since we passed, the election for baseball, it was kind of easy, to do that for football, because people now believe, that it was good. It was good to have, a nice brand new stadium, and the revenues would be good for the city, for the state, and we need, a good football team, which Pat Bowlen believed, in having a good football team, and we had a good football team. When you have, 3 times champion, we has to be good. Now we're not doing too good.
We caught this on a bad week for football, right?
Well,
But your radio station, KBNO, broadcast a lot
Yeah.
of football games, right?
Yeah, we were for 12 years the Hispanic, the voice of the Broncos. We did it for 12 years, and we did it right. It was good, and it was good for the community. They used to listen, in Spanish, because a lot of people didn't know, they're not familiar. They're familiar with soccer, maybe a little bit with baseball, but not football. So they got familiar with football. We used to do a lot of events, with the players, the Bronco players, and it was nice. It was nice.
Well, we certainly thank you for all of your community service, Z. I think you were able, with a growing Hispanic population, to really bring 2 and 3 and 4 entities together that made us a hero for being able to work together in order to get something accomplished, which is a great legacy.
What really, Kathy, I want to thank you, to you and Neil, you guys, were in the front of all this thing. You guys were believing, in baseball, in Major League Baseball, and I'll tell you, even people at the commission, didn't really believe, it was possible. They were there, because it was nice, to be a baseball commissioner.
It's a nice title to have, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And we still have the title,
Exactly.
I think it's a lifetime title.
Lifetime title. That's a nice thing about it.
Any final thoughts?
No, the only thing, I was happy, to be involved with the baseball commission. It was something new for me, something that I really believe it was good for Denver and the state of Colorado, for businesses, tourism, and jobs, everything. So I'm glad, I'm happy I got involved. And if I have to do it again, of course, I will do it immediately. And thank you to you two guys.
Well, thank you, Z, once again.
Thank you, Zay.